Oh my God, they are trying to close us down. Hello, my baby gorillas. And they're trying to interfere, the powers that be, with our transmissions. They are shadow banning us. They are now trying to block us in every way, but we can't be silenced. Oh my goodness, here we go, guys. I'm coming out to you from the bunker. And we have got some big things to talk about just now. Nicola Sturgeon, who is effectively a fake nationalist, she has now come out and said illegal immigration is okay. I didn't see that in the SNP manifesto, that anybody can come here that turns up. Obviously, she has been to America, and by her observance to the Trilateral Commission, the ultimate cookery, the ultimate one world government exponents, that she has capitulated to them and actually allowed for open borders. On the television today, you can check it out yourself, look out for it later on. Illegal immigrants are not an issue. Anybody can basically come here and they'll be treated exactly the same. So when I came back from Dubai, obviously having spent 2 years without being legally allowed to work, I was allowed to starve on the streets. When I came back here, I come from Lanarkshire. If you check up Ballantyne, historically, we all come from Lanarkshire, South Lanarkshire, and towards the borders. But in South Lanarkshire, that's our historic home of the Ballantynes. Although Ballantyne is worldwide, third biggest selling whisky worldwide, and the third biggest or the fourth biggest brewery in the United States at one point. I like to say I come from a long line of alcoholics. But, however, when I went to South Lanarkshire Council to ask to be housed in a social manner, because obviously spending 2 years without a legal ability to work really had an effect, I was told that I had to have a connection with the council. And I was like, hold on a minute, I was educated here, I've lived here, you've already housed me here, and now I have to have a connection with the council I come from. So where am I going to get housed? So I've got to go somewhere where I've got a connection with, rather than actually being housed in the actual county where I actually brought up and where we're historically from. I'm just there allowed to say, oh well, you know, we know you originally come from here, and we know you paid taxes here for years and years, but well, fuck you. You can go and live somewhere else. We're not responsible. And that shows you exactly the SNP, what the SNP are doing now. They're even preventing people who live or come from a certain area actually getting socially housed. At the same day, on the same time, exactly the same day, I'm standing at reception. This gentleman, now there wasn't a black Scottish guy and an African Scot, which I've got a lot of black Scottish or African Scottish friends. This guy had an African accent and was obviously quite clearly African, where having brought up in Lanarkshire all my life, there wasn't very many black people in Lanarkshire. And the council were quite happy to give him a housing form, application form for him to be housed. So, from what Nicola was saying today, old Nicola Nippy Knickers, that it's okay for somebody who hasn't paid taxes to come in here and get socially housed, but I have to prove that I actually come from a specific location. Not the fact that I grew up there and historically we come from there. I've got to prove a connection with the area that I'm actually getting housed. And the connection is either you have parents that are there or family that are there. Direct family. And so if your family's moved away, that means you're not connected to the area anymore. I mean, how disgusting is the SNP's legislation? What a bunch of absolute scumbags. I won't be voting the SNP again, although I am very keen or keen-ish to get independence, but this fake nationalism, they're basically a CUK party, which means they're basically a corporatist globalist party. That's why Nicola Sturgeon wants open borders. She's already paid her homage to the Trilateral Committee in the United States, the governing body for the one world fascist government. And we're also seeing that she's wanting open borders, doesn't really care. She's quite happy to give people sleeping bags and let the indigenous population sleep out in the streets. Having spent 2 years in homeless accommodations when I came back from Dubai, which was costing the taxpayer £1,000 a month to get me housed in some of the most disgusting conditions. I spent time in a housing shelter in East Campbell Street. Costing £1,200 to get me housed. Now, I don't have any mental health, well, I don't have any severe mental health issues. I've got dyslexia, ADD, a wee bit, I think I'm on the bipolar spectrum, but the fact is that I don't have anything that inhibits me living independently. This is an absolute racket to steal your taxpayers' money, £1,200 per month to keep me in a hotel, to actually get hotel accommodation. I could have stayed in a penthouse for £1,200 a month. Or they could have just given me the £1,200 a month and I could have chosen to do that, but it's a racket. They steal your money through taxation. Now, I'm for helping other people. I'm not against helping other people, but I'm saying how this is working is a racket. They steal your money. They then pay to actually uphold this. Absolutely disgusting. It's back to the poor shops or the poor workhouses that you're held in this accommodation at exorbitant prices, and it's absolutely shit. I mean, I can't tell you how bad the accommodation is, both from the actual semi-secure accommodation and then the actual hotel accommodation. Absolutely disgusting. I can't actually believe how bad for paying £1,000 or £1,200 per month, I can't believe how bad this accommodation was. But yet people are coming in here and getting social housing ahead of the people who actually paid for generations taxation. And this has been deliberately done. This is a policy that the globalists, which Nicola Sturgeon is a fake nationalist, she is basically a globalist, basically a CUK. Is it snowing? No, we're getting interfered with by the political establishment. The establishment is not snowing, it's political establishment interference in broadcasting. Give me 2 seconds, I'll come on to that. So Nicola Sturgeon wants to remain in the EU. That's not really independence, Nicola. I don't know what part of independence you're not getting, but being part of the EU is not independence. That is just transferring power from Westminster to Brussels so that 20 unelected commissioners can start dictating what my legislation is. I'm not interested in that, and I certainly won't be voting the SNP. I won't be voting for the Greens. I won't be voting for the Labour. I won't be voting for the Conservatives. I won't be voting for the CUK party, and I won't be voting for the Liberal Democrats. I'll tell you that for nothing. There's For Britain, the Brexit Party, the UKIP, and also I think the Scottish Libertarian Party. Are all potentially people who do not want to be part of the undemocratic EU. So my choices would be one of those parties. If not, I'm not sure if it's a transferable vote in the actual election, the European election, but certainly that would be beneficial. So why is the interference? Because the Silicon Valley, through our government, are interfering with the actual be able to broadcast, be able to speak. Let me give you an example. I'm sure you probably don't understand what I'm talking about. I'm going to give you a practical example. Andriy Alexander Lebev, who is the owner of the Independent Group, or the Independent newspaper. In Spain, Vox is a populist political party who has just been deplatformed. How fascist are the EU becoming? Now they're just saying, oh, if you're not part of the CUK parties in Europe, then we're not going to give you any platform to actually allow you to give a counter argument or a counter debate to the CUKs. Which the SNP are a CUK party, they should change the name to the Scottish Globalist Party, the One World Fascist Government Party, because they're certainly not nationalists. And so our political class, and I'm not saying it's just one political party, I'm saying our political class, I'm saying all those that are actual CUKs, the Labour Party, the Liberals, the CUK Party, the Christian Democrats within the Conservative Party, the SNP, Plaid, have all been cucked. They're all CUK parties, which means that they're all corporatist globalists and they all want to be part of the one EU fascist government where the 28 unelected commissioners are dictating the legislation. So I won't be voting SNP anytime soon either. I would like to see more powers to the Scottish Parliament, but certainly not amongst these idiots. So Alexander Lebedev is a Russian Jewish oligarch. All the slavers, all the slavers. Oh, is that you talking about me, Craigie boy? So he is a Russian Jewish oligarch who is now blistering the screen. I'm blistering the screen. You're saying I'm slavering over the screen. So he is a Russian Jewish oligarch who is now telling us that Nigel Farage and Jared Batten should be banned, deplatformed from actually, in the Independent they had an article today, just ban people you don't agree with. What an authoritarian. Well seen is from Russia. We only have to look back in history what the Ashanti Jews did to the people in the Ukraine, the genocide that they were involved with over there. And obviously he's brought his authoritarianism. Well, if you don't like it, just absolutely get rid of them. Just don't allow a platform for anybody who we don't agree speaking. So that's it. I mean, that's a very disturbing platform that he's actually standing on, and the fact that he's saying that we can just ban people who we don't agree with. This happened in the Leith by-election, as far as I'm aware, that the CUK parties were actually deplatforming for Britain, UKIP, and also the Scottish Libertarian Party. So obviously people are finding it acceptable to be that authoritarian, that we can just, if you don't agree with us and don't agree with being in the fascist EU, that we can actually just deplatform you. Oh my goodness, it's absolutely unbelievable. And this is what we are actually now having to go through. This is a real problem just now. We've now seen Farage's party now hitting 27%, and that UKIP's on about 10%. So that's 37% in the two Brexit parties. And if that was combined at a general election, that means they're winning the general election. This is going to be, it's not probably as bad. I don't know if it's a transferable vote in the European elections, which means you could vote for the Brexit Party and UKIP and vice versa, or if it's just a first past the post election. But certainly with UKIP sitting at 10% or 11%, and Nigel Farage is now overtaking the Labour Party on 27 or 29%. It seems to be going up exponentially, and Labour's now crashing in the north of England and the Midlands, that people are not going to vote for the Labour Party because it's now a London-centric Ramona party, another CUK party, and it's just dictating to the rest, ignoring the rest of the north of England and the Midlands who voted to leave. They're just ignoring that, they're ignoring the immigration, and they're just going to ram through whatever legislation that they want because it's basically dominated in London. And obviously people are starting to realise that the Labour Party in Manchester have put up a statue to a person who advocated genocide against the Scots. And that that's really luring the vote in Scotland, that for the Labour Party, that the Scottish people realise that Frederick Engels' statue is in Manchester city centre, and he advocated killing many Scots, or committing genocide on the Scots. So really questions are going to have to be asked about the Labour Party and what their objective is for having this guy in. And he was also the ideological inspiration for communism, which murdered millions of people as well, tens of millions of people, more than even National Socialism, which also he got the genocidal ideas. Hitler got his National Socialist genocidal ideas from Frederick Engels, who the Labour Party have now put the statue to in Manchester. So, I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. And now we've seen the Greens. The Greens party are now protesting down in London, and we've seen them out on the streets about the carbon emissions and the heating up of the environment? Well, one of the best ways to stop CO2 emissions is to plant more trees. The reason being, obviously, as a tree grows, it absorbs CO2 and puts out oxygen. It's almost like the lungs of the planet. So to really, rather than take what the underlying political motivation is for these green parties, because a lot of them are basically communists, is to just steal your money through increased taxations. That's there's AOC talking about, oh, we'll build houses, free this, free that, which is basically just a way of saying we're going to steal your money through increased taxation and we'll spend it on whatever we choose. While they're sitting, there's Bernie Sanders released, and he's a multi-millionaire sitting in the lap of luxury, hardly paying any tax himself, and telling everybody else that it's my job that I'm going to steal all your money through taxation. Oh, and so rather than actually blockading London, what all these idiots, Green supporters, would have actually been better doing is spending the afternoon going out into the forest and planting more trees, which would absorb more carbon dioxide and obviously reduce CO2 emissions by reducing them by the trees growing and absorbing the CO2 and producing oxygen. That would be probably one of, if it's only CO2 that's causing the change in the climate. Certainly I'm all for increased renewable energy. If we can move towards renewable car energy, that's certainly going to be something, electronic cars. That's all going to be something that's going to be beneficial. But I don't know how advanced the technology is, and to what they're basically advocating is to steal all the individuals' money, and obviously if it may not even be the increase in the CO2, it could be something completely different, like a change in the orbit around the sun. It could be anything. It could be a number of different things that this could be happening. But the same mantra from the left, it's okay for me to steal your hard-working money through taxation. What is really required is we reduce tax, we use some of the money to actually develop innovative businesses, high-growth businesses. We could spend a proportion of it, stage one funding for high-growth businesses, and that would increase and generate growth in our economy, making everybody richer, and would also increase the tax receipts by reducing taxation, but using some of the money to actually facilitate these new companies. So, it's just absolutely unbelievable. And Beta, we've now seen there as well that the Labour peers, now I don't really like talking about this because I don't think anybody should be outed prior to being found guilty in a sexual case, but it's it's not something that I would I agree with, but it's already in the papers. So we've now seen 3 Labour peer and 2 of his brothers involved in an alleged rape of a young boy and girl, and basically children, and this is a historic abuse that this is happening. Now we've already seen by the Labour Party how they covered up the abuse of children in Rotherham and every other area where children were abused by Muslim paedophile gangs. Apparently it's still going on in some of these councils as well. The Labour Party are still allowing the abuse of these children. There was a woman on the television, and she said there was only a couple of examples. It was nearly in every city in England where there was a significant Muslim community, that these children were being abused all over England, from Newcastle to Rochdale to Rotherham, Oxford. The actual amount of trials is quite staggering, all under Labour councils who have basically covered up the issue. They've been basically allowing through the back door the abuse of these children. And this woman, I don't know where she's from, she's obviously of African descent, that saying that it's only happened in a couple of areas and it's not really a big deal. And that Tommy Robinson's the problem, it's not him highlighting this issue, which is obviously being covered up by our political class. So, I mean, it's just absolutely bonkers. I mean, some of the stuff that's actually happening here is absolutely unbelievable. And we have some real scumbags in our political class. Here's David Lammy calling everybody Nazis, and oh, he's absolutely worse than useless, that character. I mean, he should, if there was anybody who shouldn't be in British politics, it's probably Lammy. And now he's taking this very intersectional left-wing approach. He's basically becoming an anti-white racist. I don't know why you would come to a country that's predominantly white if you're not wanting to fit in. I think the vast majority of our ethnic minorities do fit in, regardless of where they're from. But some of them, like Lammy, are just provocateurs and calling everybody Nazis, who he's in the Euro fanatic. He is a complete loony when it comes to being part of a totalitarian Europe, where we don't actually have any democratic accountability from the commissioners who are setting our legislation. And he thinks that people who don't want that are Nazis. That is a totalitarian ideology. This is where the democratically elected parliament are not actually controlling the legislation, but it's an unelected commission that are dictating the legislation. Oh my goodness. And this is from our political class. Only when the Labour Party, the Conservative Party, the Greens, the SNP are not in Parliament, and we have actual Brexiteers in Parliament, will we actually get a change in our politics? It has to happen in the Westminster Parliament. It's all going to be very well sending, whether it be UKIP or the Brexit Party, people to the European Parliament, where they can cause a lot of inconvenience for the EU, like the EU has done over the negotiations over the last number of ones, with the help of May, who's a Remainer, who's another CUK, like Nicola Sturgeon, another CUK. So the point is, don't vote for CUKs. Don't vote for CUK parties, don't vote for CUK politicians. And they also lie to you. I mean, the Labour Party stood in a manifesto saying that we're going to respect the vote, yet they were going to keep us in the customs union and the single market, which is not exactly respecting the vote, considering we knew that we were going to leave the single market and leave this customs union. And then we've got the Conservative Party, who they've obviously stood, I mean, like Anna Soubry and Haddon and a lot of the other Christian Democrat cucks in the Conservative Party have obviously lied to their electorate and stood in a manifesto that says they were going to honour the vote, yet 3 years later we're still in the EU about to actually put MEPs back in the European Parliament because we've got a cuck Prime Minister who, I think her writing is definitely on the wall. Apparently now that a number of Conservative constituency chairmen have all got together, I think there's now 40, 50, I think they need 65 before they can actually trigger another vote on May. And I would pretty much guarantee she'll lose this one. I don't think, and Amber Rudd, oh fucking Amber Rudd, potentially. So that's just a continuation of May being equally shit. I mean, Amber Rudd, I don't know how she got elected. She nearly didn't get elected at the last election. And so, I mean, that's just, Amber Rudd replacing May would be like the pot. I don't think Amber Rudd would get actually voted for in the actual election, because in the constituencies and in the rank and file of the Conservative Party that she is not liked, and she won't actually become, even if she gets to the last two, she will not become the Prime Minister. So, although nothing would surprise me with the Conservatives just now. So it looks like just now that Nigel Farage and Jerry Batten are going to smash every other party. Everybody's just going to vote for me. I think there's 1 million Scots who voted for Brexit. And I think they're starting to wake up to the fact that We should, the SNP are not representing them, and will either vote for the Brexit Party or UKIP, even though, that, like myself, I want more power to the Scottish Parliament, because I believe in more controlling of the more control to the actual Scottish Parliament, so that we can control more of our own lines. But I think just now that the Brexit Party, UKIP, might do actually rather well in Scotland. I think that if the 1 million Scots get out and vote, that is going to be a huge problem for the SNP as well. So we're getting interfered with. Our political class is now want to clamp down in no platform people that disagree with them. They don't want to have to debate their stupid ideas because they know they can't win on an actual debate. So they've resorted to complete authoritarianism, which is exactly down the path that we are actually moving down. We are moving down towards a fascist ideology, a more authoritarian. Now we're actually having to prove our age to actually even look at porn now. If anybody wanted to look at porn, the government has now set out a way that we have to actually show some identification to even look at porn. They want to be in every minutiae of your life, dictating what they want to say. The SNPs putting comedians in jail and fining them, fining speech, fining this, fining that, in your face, and they want to use Silicon Valley. Now, what do you call him? Zuckerberg is now wanting to throw himself on the regulation of these basically authoritarian MPs, like Anna Soubry, who's an alleged Nazi, and Lamy, who apparently is an alleged commie. So these guys are now, and Zuckerberg is wanting to control, be controlled directly by the government, so that it prevents other entrance to the market, and he can manipulate by the control. This is what the corporatists do. They then reduce competition and actually reduce the actual capitalism by working in conjunction with the authoritarians in our political class, reducing competition so that we can't actually have freedom of speech. This is why we're being interfered with just now, as you can see on the screen. This is the way that we are actually being moved. And I'll give you an exact example. I had 1,100 people on this Guerilla TV Facebook channel. And we've now only got 233 or something like that. They took off a whole bunch of people off the channel. They just want to interfere and be authoritarian. That's all they want to do. It's now just about control for them. It's not about the money. It's not about anything else. It's about them controlling you and preventing you from speaking. And I include Sturgeon in that as well. I have to say Alex Salmond was a much better politician than Nicola Sturgeon is. I think she's just an authoritarian wee cuck, isn't she? She's not a nationalist anyway. She's just a cuck, an EU cuck. So, that's it. I think that's it. I think I covered everything. I don't know, let me just check. I think everything was covered there. But yeah, I think that's it. I hope you enjoyed that. I needed to get that off my chest. Oh, Carol Benjamin. So, Carol Benjamin hit all the papers the other day there with a tweet they did 3 years ago. Jess Phillips, the Labour fascist MP, all smiley, I'm nice, wanted to use actual proper rape threats against her, allegedly, to start to censor the internet, which is exactly what we're talking about here as well. She wanted to censor the internet because somebody had sent her an alleged rape threat. Now, if somebody had allegedly sent her a rape threat, she should have gone to the police and just dealt with the rape threat through the police, which I would totally agree with. But what she wanted to do, she was trying to manipulate the public into then being able to clamp down on people's freedom of speech on the internet. This is what the whole agenda is, the fascist, totalitarian, authoritarian agenda. So Carol Benjamin, he's a lovely fellow, what a great guy he is, said to actually, as a prevention of being allowed to have Jess Phillips dictate, the Labour commie, dictate. I think she's actually a cuck. I think she's one of a Blairite. I think she's part of the cuckery, a cuckold. that he wouldn't even rape her. So I wouldn't murder somebody, I wouldn't commit genocide. And what the British press, I think, in the Independent again, has now twisted it to be a rape threat. I mean, how nebbishy is that? How disgusting. So if I say I wouldn't kill you, I wouldn't fight with you, I wouldn't steal from you, that's all actually reverted into a murder threat or a theft threat, or it's all been perverted into something else. And the media just actually ran with it as well. Just like what happened to me when I came back from Dubai. I was in the Herald contacted me and made allegations about me attending David Irvin's event, which I never went to. I don't really know much about David Irvin. I believe he's a Holocaust denier. I certainly believe that the Holocaust happened. But again, the press doing another smear hit piece on you. Oh my goodness, if you can check it out. I mean, it's just a hatchet job on me. They were moaning about me doing massage in Dubai. They didn't ask me why I learned massage, because I was in the Marines and I was having a hard job doing long distance running, and I thought massage would actually help us. With this, when I was trying to protect our society, I was in the Royal Marine Reserves and I did my potential officers course with the Marines and the Paras. And which helped me when I was in Dubai, because I could do massage, because the UAE government held me for 2 years without a legal ability to work or leave the country. I guess if I was a hairdresser, that would have also been beneficial, because I wouldn't have had to get a works permit, a works visa, which I was being denied, which the FCO, the British Foreign and Commonwealth Office, didn't even give me even humanitarian assistance. And I can't, they're now giving Begum, Jeremy Steptoe Corbyn is on the BBC saying that she's a British citizen and she deserves legal aid, where I can't even get legal aid. I was refused legal aid and I was refused legal representation, which you can check out if you go on my YouTube Guerilla TV channel. You'll be able to see. Oh, that's it, guys. That's me. I've done my rant. That's it, over for today. But I won't be voting SNP. The SNP are finished. All they're doing is using mass immigration to ethnically cleanse. I believe we should have immigration, but to then say that we should just basically have open borders, the SNP should put that in their actual manifesto. They believe in illegal immigration, and they should have they would just have open borders. What we should ask Nicola Sturgeon is, how many immigrants are in your house? How many have you taken in? I see, so somebody else has got to be displaced who might have paid taxes for generations. They just to get the sleeping bags, is it, Nicola? You just give yourself a pay rise, honey.